At the mouth of the Honeywin River, where the waters meet the Sunset Sea, stands Oldtown. By every measure, it is one of the most important cities in Westeros. Older than King's Landing, wealthier than Lannisport, and more learned than any other place in the Seven Kingdoms. And at the heart of Oldtown rises the Hightower, a colossal structure of pale stone, built upon Battle Isle, rising higher than even the wall itself. Its beacon has guided sailors for thousands of years, its walls have withstood countless threats, and its very presence defines the city around it. But the tower is more than stone. It is the symbol of House Hightower, one of the most powerful families in all of Westeros. While others wage wars and burn kingdoms, the Hightowers have ruled Oldtown for millennia, rarely by the sword, but almost always by influence, wealth, and knowledge. From the Citadel of the Maesters to the Starry Sept, from merchant fleets to the Faith of the Seven itself, the Hightower's reach is vast. Oldtown is their seat, but their power extends far beyond its walls. And so, to understand House Hightower, one must first understand the city they shaped, and the tower that gave them their name. Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Here we delve deep into the rich lore of the Lord of the Rings, a song of ice and fire, and the vast worlds beyond. On this channel, we blend the soothing power of cutting-edge technology with the timeless knowledge of dedicated storytellers. That's us, the voices behind the Codex. Settle in, relax, and enjoy. The history of the Hightowers reaches deeper than almost any other noble house. According to legend, their line stretches back to the first men, perhaps even earlier. Before the Hightower itself was raised, there was Battle Isle, a rocky island at the mouth of the Honeywine. Here it is said mysterious structures of black, oily stone once stood, the same strange material found in places of dread across the world, in Asshai, in the ruins of Yin, in the Seastone Chair of the Iron Islands. Did the same ancient builders leave their mark in Oldtown? If so, then the Hightowers may not only be lords of a city, but inheritors of a mystery older than recorded history. The chronicles tell us that the first men built their stronghold upon this isle, and that in time it grew into the Hightower itself, rising tier upon tier, ever higher, until it became the tallest structure in all Westeros. Whether their origins are mundane or touched by sorcery, one thing is certain. House Hightower has ruled from Oldtown for thousands of years. Their claim to antiquity rivals the Starks of Winterfell, the Lannisters of Casterly Rock, and even the supposed God Kings of Essos. While other houses carved out their power through blood and conquest, the Hightowers mastered a different path. Oldtown's position on the Sunset Sea made it the gateway of Westeros, a hub of trade, culture, and learning. Merchant ships from Dawn, the Reach, and even distant Essos filled its harbours, and the Hightowers grew unimaginably rich from tariffs, commerce, and their fleets. But their wealth was only the beginning. The Hightowers knew how to wield it. They became patrons of the Citadel, the Order of Maesters who gathered in Oldtown to study and preserve knowledge. The Citadel's influence spread across the entire realm, with every castle seeking a Maester, and each of them bound by vows to Oldtown's great order. In this way, the Hightowers extended their reach without ever raising a sword. They could shape lords and kings not through armies, but through advisors, healers, and keepers of secrets. It is this strategy that has defined their power for millennia. Where others burn out in glory or ruin, the Hightowers endure. If knowledge was one pillar of their strength, faith was another. When the Andals came to Westeros, they brought with them the Faith of the Seven. And it was in Oldtown that the faith found its first and strongest foothold. The Hightowers embraced the Seven eagerly, building the Starry Sept, which would serve as the seat of the High Septon for centuries. This gave them not only spiritual prestige, but political might. Through the faith, they could shape kings and lords alike, binding their power not only in coin and knowledge, but in religion itself. Yet here too they showed their skill at balance. The Hightowers embraced piety, but they never let faith consume them. Even as the faith militant rose and fell, even as other lords clashed with the High Septon, the Hightowers remained secure in Oldtown, guiding the faith while rarely suffering from its wrath. They understood better than most that religion is as much about power as it is about belief. When dragons came to Westeros, Oldtown bent the knee without resistance. Unlike Harren the Black, who defied Aegon and was burned for it, the Hightowers welcomed the conqueror with open arms. This was no accident. The Hightowers had survived the long night of history by knowing when to fight and when not to. Their submission spared Oldtown the destruction that fell on other cities, and it ensured their continued prosperity under Targaryen rule. Even during the Dance of the Dragons, the bloody civil war that tore House Targaryen apart, the Hightowers played their hand carefully. They manoeuvred through alliances and betrayals, but in the end, Oldtown endured once more. Time and again, while others rose and fell, the Hightowers remained. They married into the Tyrells, the Targaryens, and other great houses, weaving themselves into the fabric of every dynasty. It is this subtlety, this refusal to gamble everything on war, that allowed them to survive where others perished. Yet for all their piety and prosperity, there are whispers that the Hightowers are not merely rulers of Oldtown, but hidden architects of history itself. The Citadel they patronise has long been accused of having its own agenda. Some say the Masters seek to extinguish magic from the world, to replace dragons and sorcery with reason and learning. And if that is true, then the Hightowers may have been the patrons of this secret war, guiding Westeros away from fire and shadow and toward the world we know. There are even darker rumours, that Battle Isle's ancient oily black stone still hides secrets, that the Hightower's beacon may have once been more than a lighthouse, perhaps a relic of sorcery now buried beneath centuries of stone. And then there are the questions of the present. Why does Leighton Hightower, current Lord of Oldtown, remain locked in his tower, studying with alchemists and astrologers, while his children rule in his stead? What secrets are kept in the highest chambers of the Hightower? What knowledge is hidden in the Citadel's locked vaults? For a family that thrives on mystery, these questions are not accidents. They are part of their power. So who are the Hightowers? On the surface, they are one of the great houses of the Reach, lords of Oldtown, bannermen to House Tyrell, wealthy beyond measure. But beneath that surface lies something greater. They are the guardians of the oldest city in Westeros, patrons of the faith, allies of the Citadel, and perhaps keepers of mysteries that stretch back to the dawn of man. They are the house that has survived everything. The Long Night, the Andals, the Targaryens, the Dragons, the Wars of Kings. Always when the smoke clears, the Hightowers still stand. Perhaps this is their true strength. Not conquest, not fire, but endurance, wealth, faith, and subtle power, hidden in plain sight. The Hightowers may not sit the Iron Throne, but in their own way they have shaped Westeros as much as any king. And in the shadows of Oldtown their beacon still burns, a reminder that power does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. If you are interested in The Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, click one of the links on the screen to dive deeper into the lore. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.